Chat. Hello. Welcome. How's everybody doing? My screen is still showing that I'm offline. I don't think I'm offline. No, okay. Here we go. Now, hey. I've done a little work on the scene collection. My model is not locked. There we go. But yes, I've done a little bit of work on the scene collection. So we're back to the red sky. A little bit of a fun fact. Red is actually the correct color of the sky picture. It was hue shifted to be blue. This is its real color. Allow me to... Oh, I need to open my YouTube live chat. There we go. Pop out chat. Okay. And we'll put my Twitch chat next to it. I might reduce the frequency of Nightbot, or like rewrite it to happen in Coalescence instead, because it is kind of annoying how often it's saying things. I have too many intervals, but I have so many things I need to advertise. But yes, we are working on documentation today. Everybody's favorite. So much that we might even just use the all capture. Instead of the dedicated VS scene. All right, let us move to the main scene. Welcome to the main scene. Oh, that's not the right one. So, we're working on documentation today. Coalescence's documentation has moved from inside of the app to an HTML page that you open. So right now we're documenting the messages that you can do, and then we'll move on to documenting scripting as well. Scripting, I've actually eliminated OBS script, and we are now only using the new scripting language. OBS script has actually been fully removed from the app. Because the new scripting language is based on Lua, and therefore has a hell of a lot more you can do with it than my shit-ass scripting language. So, I could show off some of the improvements. We could do that really quick. But I got my password manager. No. Okay. And we'll do display capture. Okay. So, here's what Coalescence looks like now. And it has sort of blowing everything up. Here's what it looked like before. The major difference is that OBS now never leaves dependency weight, and I still have no idea why. Maybe one day I'll find out. But instead of having here we go. Instead of having this as our major scripting stuff, right? Here's our OBS script editing system. We now have a scripting window that has full-on syntax highlighting and supports all of Lua. So it's a little bit more sophisticated on the back end here. Also, hey, Tech Cafe. Welcome. Um, but yes. Essentially what we're doing today is writing documentation for all of this. So we do have a little bit of documentation available in this combo box. Like it'll tell you sleep delays processing by an amount of time in milliseconds. That's kind of how this works. But we are writing the documentation, which is more on the order of just, let me open it really quick. More on the order of this. So it doesn't show what the actual object you send is because there are no parameters to this. So you just send request start replay buffer and it does the thing. I need to make a callback for it so it actually tells you whether or not it succeeded, but you know, we'll get there. I do intend on releasing this on VGen. It won't be free, which is part of the reason I want to write all the documentation first. I'll probably release it in alpha, or not alpha, but beta probably. So it'll be like a 0.8 release, 0.8. And then everybody can go through and do the thing. The one thing I might need to look into, so the Twitch authentication is a little weak. Allow me to close all of these. The Twitch authentication uses my it uses my website, and like I authorize the app, and then I click this button, right? And that's how the Twitch works. The problem is that might not be secure, so I might need to have our resident cybersecurity expert test it. Or I might mark it as like unsupported, or maybe even just straight up disable it. Like I'm not sure if this is safe yet. So I mean, theoretically, even if all of the communications are intercepted and tracked, they still need to know your client secret, which isn't transmitted. So it should still be safe, but I want to check in and make sure it's good before I release it as an actual option. Twin stream, and I find this daily work. Yeah. I mean, I have streamed a lot of games in the past year. I think the last time you popped in was January 14th. And I mean, to be fair, on the 14th too, I was doing a lot of because at the start of this year, I was doing only gaming because I was highlighting every day. And I figured that development streams wouldn't be interesting enough to highlight. I'm still of that mind. I've just given up on highlighting every day. It takes too much time and doesn't actually end up. It's not worth the effort at the moment. So, we have been doing less programming lately, but we're back to it for the time being. I have a lot of things I need to do about um, releasing various parts of the app. And I'd like to get this out so that other people can use it and we can improve it and make cool things happen. Let's see. I just have to I'm probably gonna release it as kind of I might even release it with control surface, OBS scripting, core, and the thing. So it'll just be essentially a thing you click and then it'll do certain things. Like if I click be right back, it does this. And then if I click main scene, it goes back. So that'll probably be the first thing I put out with it. I mean, it is a plugin based system, but I also feel like that's not very much for a release. The idea of it is that you have the base app, which will be like, I don't know, $5, and then like you can buy certain plugins for it. That you don't have to like. If I build 500 apps, right? You don't have to buy all of them. You can buy only the ones you want or need. It means that I don't have to keep raising the price of the system every time I release more content for it. The only thing that kind of sucks is that it means that if you buy the system and I release something new, you have to buy that component as well if you want it. I don't know how I would go about solving that because VGen doesn't allow me to give like discount codes. It's either on sale or not. So I'm not sure how I want to handle that. Because I do have to sell it on VGen. I can't accept payment on any other platform. We'll have to think about that. What I might do is like plug in packs. So like for example, trivia and dice could both be part of an OBS plugin pack. You can choose what you want to load and what you don't want to load. And then the vneon and vtube studio connectors are essentially for the model change system. I might. The other problem. So I have a weird setup, and it has one slight annoyance that I can't actually track my model on both vneon and vtube studio at once because only one app can bind. And my phone can only send on one port, so I have to make an app that'll relay it to 2 different ports. But if I'm right, I'm pretty sure VMC protocol is over UDP. And I'm trying to look up something, and then Google takes my focus and says, please help us improve Google. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to look up something. All right. So VMC is UDP, which means I could just do a simple broadcast on both UDP client. Should not actually be that hard to duplicate the stream. But yeah. So what have we got to document? There's no, actually there's scripting for there's scripting but not messages for Coalescence. Don't I have some scripting information already? Nope, this is the OBS scripting. Well, that's no good. Hope we can delete all of this then. Okay. So how do I want to show these? Because the messages, I honestly don't like how this looks so much. I'd like to have like a preview of the object that you send or that you would get back. It's just a little bit weird. It's gonna use a lot of like space. Actually, another thing, do the request save replay buffers require that it's a dictionary message? No, okay. Um, this is in scripting, which does provide. Actually, maybe I don't write HTML documentation for them because they're already in the script editor window. They're already documented, and the documentation is closer to where you would actually read it anyway. We don't write scripting documentation. It's only messages then. OBS does have some messages. We have a. No, we don't. Okay. So let's do the other thing. So this has no properties. And we will do os.save or obsocket.get replay buffer status. If not this, for bool was replay buffer enabled. This, if not was replay buffer enabled, return false. This should be a boolean. What's your deal? Oh. Else return obsocket os.obsocket.save replay buffer. Oh. All right, so this will return a boolean whether or not the replay buffer was enabled, or whether or not the replay buffer is successfully saved. Return false. All right. Love looking at the definition of string. So we're gonna do the same thing here for start. So if the replay buffer was already enabled, we're just gonna say true. It was already started. And then if we get an error somehow, it will return false. And then stop replay buffer. Do much of the same. Okay. So now in the scripting window, we're very lucky. It should include if the thing will build. Um, there we go. I don't know what happened, but that build was absolutely glacial. Anyway, if I come to the scripting window now, we can see in OBS we now have start replay buffer, stop replay buffer, and save replay buffer as available methods. Now, all we have to do is think the messages are already handled. So Twitch. Okay, Twitch is going to be a rough one. Twitch is going to be a really rough one. There's not any scripting integration with Twitch at the moment. And it does have a lot of messages it sends. So there's a lot going on here. And then Twitch will, on many events, raise its own events. Which is going to be weird too. Hmm. That's a good point, actually. Twitch is the main reason I can't filter where I send events. How long did it take me to make this? I've been working on this on and off for about a year. It's been the main tool that I put behind like my Twitch bot, the thing that says ads have begun. See you in 180 seconds. That's this. That's the ads UI. In fact, I can show you exactly where it sends it. If I go to controller, actually. Yep. Right here. When Twitch tells me ads started, we put in the ads underway script, which makes it red and says ads end in whatever. And then we send this chat message, which probably should be a variable and not direct text, but hey, we'll live. But yeah, no, I've been working on this for about a year. Anyway, it's time to do the difficult part and write all of the help documentation for Twitch, which doesn't need a library. Actually, does it need a library? I mean, Lua will be there from scripting anyway. Oh, I need to delete this too. We'll get there in a minute. All right. Twitch has messages. Some of them are outs and not actually remote procedure calls. So let's see. What things can you tell it to do? Let's start there. You can ask it to register an event sub. Attempts to register an event sub subscription. And that requires the type, the type of event sub subscription. These are all going to be required. Version, which is a string, the version of the event sub subscription type. Next is condition, which is a dictionary of string to string. String to string. The condition of the event sub subscription. If not specified, a dictionary with the key broadcaster user ID is user ID is used. Next is scopes. It's just a string. A space separated list of all scopes required to make this subscription. Okay. Now there's a message callback, which is rare but does happen. So we do need to copy the message callback. Checked. All right. Events of register request does have a callback. This callback is callback with response. And may optionally include an error. The error that occurred, if any, and a detail object. All right. So now we rebuild the app, which will push it into the output of this folder. So I can head here, help. Is it named OBS still? Which? That's not it. No, it's called scripting. Okay. I think the scripting page might be slightly fucked, but that's all right. So here's event sub register request. Okay. That looks good to me. Drink? No. Can't make me drink. That's peer pressure or something. All right, one sec. Let me get water. Apparently, you can hear the water. Or at the very least, my microphone picks it up. But hey, Aunt, how's it going? Okay, don't turn the wind tunnel on, actually. There's a bunch of plastic that'll fly into it and like cause problems and shit. We'll turn on the mini wind tunnel. I don't want to cause even more of a mess in my room. Got a bunch of little birds and shit on the ground. 1 second. Saw that I had a message. I had to check it. All right. Also, my taskbar is probably gonna like stress someone out. Person who notices, I'm sorry, but not that sorry. The wind tunnel is a go. Okay. So, it's not the right one. Okay. So now, user info request. So this one is an RPC as well. This should say Twitch. User info request. Gets information about a user. Um, so the okay. So you can do either by ID string, which is a comma separated list of user IDs. This is optional. This one is login. Oops. Login. A comma separated list of user login names. I think that's it actually. Callback is on success of the guides for how to build the birds are going flying now. On a success, the response is a length, which is an int, the int 32. The length of the output user's object if the operation was successful. And then users is sorry, I had to blow my nose. Users is an array of user, which is the actual output of the output of the user get operation. Now, this is actually probably an issue because it's not helpful if you don't have the Twitch lib connected. Like you need Twitch lib to read the object. So I might reduce it to a dictionary of string to string, a string to object. Shall I make it a dictionary of string to object? I could make it an array of dictionary to string to objects. Very complicated data type, but it does represent in a portable way anything that TwitchLib could put into their objects. With this strong, this may be replaced later with a dictionary string to objects array. Send chat request. is very much similar. It actually doesn't send a callback if the operation succeeds. Send chat request. Sends a chat message. No callback occurs if the event succeeds. A very simple API. You write the text, it does the thing. And if you get a call back, that means something went horribly wrong. Next is ban user request. Bans a user. Strangely enough, this one does call back if it succeeds. We may end up replacing this API with something a little bit better, because I honestly feel like it shouldn't return a callback at all if it succeeds. You know what? We're gonna do that. It doesn't call back if it succeeds. So we need user login. Um, for user ID, the login, the user to ban. If this is not specified, user ID must be. What? Okay. Then we have reason, a string, why the user was banned. If unspecified, no reason is given. And then duration, which is an integer which is parsed from a string. How long in seconds to ban the user? If unspecified, the ban is permanent. Next is unban user request. So we just need the ID or login, and that's all it is. And then stream marker request. Um, creates a marker in the stream's VOD. There are no parameters. Wait, there are one parameter. Reason. The reason to create a stream marker. Apparently that's a thing I can do. So we delete these two. We do need to create our callback parameters, which are just error and we're going to enforce that callbacks do not occur on a success. Um, okay. So now we have to get to the other problem. So these are all of the messages you can send Twitch. I have to build it first. Okay. Here's all the messages you can send Twitch. Twitch also sends you messages. So we're going to horizontal rule. We're going to take this entire div, copy it and paste it. Um, so say event notifier messages. Coalescence.twitch will raise messages on its own when certain events take place. To get these messages, simply add a check for, or add a check in your process message. Okay. They're all going to base off of this top one. There are no callbacks on events. And then all of these are in Twitch subsystem event sub. All right. I think these are all strings. Actually, this one's a datetime offset. So I'm not going to describe what these are. This is event channel ban. A user was banned. And then we include all of the things. Okay. We push this. Okay. So this is how it looks. Is there a channel unban event? There should be, shouldn't there? Yep. Okay. All right. I don't know if channel.ban also sends you channel unban events. Nope, you do actually have to subscribe to both events separately. Okay. So the difference between channel ban and channel unban is that unban does not have a reason. It does not have ends at or banned at or is permanent. It just has who and where and why. Okay. Event channel chat message. Unban. Is there an event for timeout actually? Is that just channel ban? Okay, no. A chat message was sent. Channel.chat.message. There's a channel chat under message. I forgot. It is chat.message, not underscore message. Okay, so user ID, username ID, login, broadcaster name ID, login, source broadcaster name ID, and login for shared chat. Text ID is moderator is a boolean, is broadcaster is VIP, is staff, is subscriber, and is from shared chat. Cool. Chat message is one of the largest event types. Um, Event revocation. Event sub subscription was revoked. Primarily used for determining or for debugging. Type and status. All right, we will copy the previous event for channel cheer. Sure. Channel.cheer. Is it channel.cheer? Yeah, it is. Okay, so this also should be, I think. Revocation doesn't require that you subscribe to something. So cheer is username ID, login, broadcast name ID, login, message bits, which I believe is an integer. Yeah. Int 32. And is anonymous. Say boolean. This is where it gets freaky. Good old channel point redeem, event channel points custom reward redemption add. Yes, this is really the name of it. What a miserable name for an event. So now we have redemption ID, status, we have text, we have redeemed at, which is a date time offset. We have they're gonna grace us with the second bot. No? Well then. Usually they give you a second bot. But since Coalescence isn't running, the auto mod has not captured them. Actually, Coalescence is running, it's just not working. I probably clicked through the authenticate just a little bit too early. There we go. We're gonna have to use historical paste. Event channel subscription. Channel subscribe. The user ID, name ID, login, broadcaster name ID, login, tier, which is an int, and is gift. This event is also for gift subscriptions. Which includes total, which I think is an int. Yes. It's the um number of gifts in the package, and is anonymous, which is whether or not the person is hiding. All right. We can rebuild this, which will push this in the output. So here's all of the events it'll run. There are a lot of them, but it's very, very, very few of the actual events that you can obtain. But these are the big ones. Because, for example, there are a lot of different event types like auto mod settings update, and I'll be honest, I don't think many people care. Actually, stream online and offline are things I should probably have, um, because those are relatively important. Maybe we will put those two. Um, okay. ID and started at. Type. Okay. Event, stream, online. Yeah, not much information in this event at all. So this is only broadcaster name, ID, login, ID, which is a string, started at, which is a date time offset, and type, which is a string. Okay. And then stream offline is very easy because it is the same thing without any of these objects. Okay. Now, if we refresh this page, you can now get stream online and stream offline. Cool. I probably won't implement much more of event sub unless people want it. Actually, we should probably do one for follows, huh? That's not a bad one. I'm feeling that EVT is going to have a lot of data. Not really, actually. Cool. Uh, Weirdly enough, it distributes events for ads starting but not ending. I guess you're expected to just figure it out. Another one we should probably do is raids, huh? Um, Interestingly enough, we actually don't know what the what happens here. Um, all right. So yeah, depending on the condition you used when you registered the event, this could be an incoming or outgoing raid, and we don't actually have a way to tell. Is there any other events I should add? Okay. Hmm. I was kind of hoping they would have a generic event, um, that just has generic. Sorry, why do I automatically subscribe to channel chat message? That shouldn't happen. As funny as it is, I don't actually want to subscribe to the chat message unless I've been requested for it. It should by default subscribe to nothing. All right. Sorry. I have to hide my screen whenever I open Discord because I am using a display capture. I could just go back to using the thing. No, I don't have to worry about it. We don't need to worry. Um, but yes. As for other event types, the only ones I could see is polls and predictions. But for right now, we're just gonna not worry about it. We can always update Twitch to have more events. Um, Now what I want to do is we have the messages. I want to add some script actions that you can do with Twitch. So to do that, we come all the way to the bottom, go to the Solution Explorer, and add a reference to scripting, which was missing. Okay, so public class Twitch script provider. Actually, I think they're internal. Script provider base. And then we move this to new file. Now they are public. We will take this function. We'll do twitch dot send message. Sends a chat message. Text. Text to send. Is this lazy? Yes. Do I care? No. Our send chat thing is just gonna straight up. It's gonna broadcast a request. Now, later on, I would like it to actually just um do it directly because this could have side effects for anything listening for a send chat request, which might be a good thing. I don't know. It's kind of a strange one. Uh, we'll have to look into it. We're gonna do one for ban user. Uh, Lurk time. Thanks for lurking. I wonder if our lurk command still works. Okay. Ban user request. Is it login or user login? Just ban user. It is user login. All right. This is a messy one, but it does work. Okay. Send chat, ban, unban. Okay, I think the other one is to clip. Can I have a clip request? I can't actually do this, can I? Because get user info, I can't get the info of because I need to do it directly and not through the messaging system because I can't listen for callbacks immediately. I might be able to hack a way to do it, but it's probably not worth it. And I don't want people doing event sub registration over the scripting system. It might be good, but it's kind of messy. Right now, let's not do it. It would be better to make an event sub, or not an event sub, a messaging directly through the scripting system. Now, oh, we don't instantiate the Twitch scripting method provider. So generally, what I do is I just go into Twitch subsystem, make a Twitch script provider TSP equals new, and that handles all of that. All right. Now we can see if this works. Right? The twitch.send message, right? Takes in the text. So I can write twitch.send message. It works. And if I hit execute, it just works. It's just that simple. All right. Um, all right. Sorry about that. So that brings Twitch really just up to where I was trying to get. Um, it kind of just works. Wait, does it work? Chat, we need to test something. Have to try it. Chat, I don't think it worked. Hmm. it just came through. Why did it take so long? Huh? All right. Maybe it does work. So twitch.unban use. Okay. That's strange. Oh, idiot. Oopsies. Um, yeah, no, the unban calls ban. Okay, that hasn't worked. But if I drop two, okay, so what I wonder is, do Lua functions not have a concept of variadic argument length, which could be the case. I don't know if Lua has that. It's kind of a weird um thing. Lua functions with default arguments. So what I'm curious to see is if I call a breakpoint here, the question is, does it run anything? And the answer is no. Okay, so that's failing to even bind. Right? We have to do these to learn. I was about to say, where's my window? It's not calling it. We write an invalid type in the second, it isn't calling it. Okay, so it only calls it if the correct number of arguments are specified. Which to me is an I mean, I know why it's happening, kind of. It's because in scripting in wrapped function into Lua function, it's throwing because the number of arguments are not high enough. I execute this. No? What? Wait, it's just taking like an entire second to bind. What? Calling on set input property. The annoying thing is. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Additional breakpoint. Name equals twitch.unban user. make everything else run slowly, but oh well. This is the correct number of arguments. I want to make it the incorrect number of arguments. But my question in theory is it runs here. No. Okay, what's the deal then? Okay, our exact I is now 1 is an optional argument. While arguments dot length count less than method dot arguments parameter dot length arguments equals arguments dot add, or just arguments dot add null. No. Hold on. For int I equals arguments dot count, I is less than method dot get parameters dot length, I increases. Arguments dot add method dot get parameters at I dot default dot get type dot default. Shit. Can I call default of a type directly? This is probably type info is the problem. How are we one scope down? What? Huh? This default expression is causing that many issues? Huh? It needs to be a literal type. How do I get the default? I have no idea if this is gonna work. We're gonna try this. So we're gonna try to do this. And if that fails, arguments.add null. This might allow me to bind invalid things for optional parameters. Well, no, because optional parameters always have, because they're defined by having a default value. Hold on. If parameter dot has default value, then arguments.add parameter a default value. Only otherwise do we try this weird shit, because the default values will always at least be sensible for the function. Otherwise, we're always going to be passing default, and it's probably never going to work. Unban, or actually ban user, which.ban user. Okay, that worked. It works. Default arguments now do something. The whole C# to Lua thing is kind of a mess, but it does work. And that's better than I expected, really. One of the things I want to do, just as a quality of life thing, is I want to subscribe to the form closing event. If button 4.4color is not color.white, I think it's button 4 is our our button. No, it's button 1. Buttons save. Message box dot show. You have unsaved changes to your script. You want to continue closing the form? Unsaved changes. And then it'll be yes, no. If result is dialog results.yes, do nothing. Else, form or event dot cancel equals true. So now, theoretically, it should yell at you if you attempt to close the script editor while you have change. No or yes. It's just that easy. This is the reason I like writing C#. It is very rarely annoying. That's right. Which jump scare. All right. So that worked. Let a comment here. All right. So that's pretty good. Let's see. So this, I should probably do, so label function name. Label function description. Label function return value. Label function return type. Panel 2 is panel function documentation. Actually, this is panel function parameters. RTB script editor. Lists scripts. Nope, not scripts. Scripts. Go. I just like to name my components. A lot of them are not going to be named. Things like button 6. Click. This one. This is click. I think this is clone. This one is click. Rename. This one is click. New. Oh yeah, CB documentation target. We'll call it. They don't need to be good names. They are all private for a reason. It sucks. Using Lua. Where? Oh, it's from wrap function, I think. Yeah. No? It's just scripting. What? Where do we use Lua? Oh. Honestly, we just use the constant. Make sure we haven't broken it. Nope. Why are there squigglies? What do you want from me? Remove unnecessary suppression. That is true, actually. The suppression is unnecessary in .NET 10. This is actually the feature right here, being able to change the form's caption color, is the reason I upgraded from .NET 9 to 10. Goes from being impossible to possible. I think that's kind of sick. All right. Trying to think of if there's any other things I should tie. I could probably tie the ads UI doesn't have anything that could be scripted. VNown and VTube Studio could be. So honestly, if I copy this and put it here, do coalescence.vtube studio. These actually we do need both of them. Let's add a reference to scripting. Plan is to do vtube VTS. Should I abbreviate? I mean, I do abbreviate OBS. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're gonna call VTube Studio subsystem equals subsystem registry get VTube subsystem DSS.swap model async model expression. And then we will do .get awaiter get results. I mean, realistically, this is going to work, but if VTSS is null, return. Make it a nullable. Make this a nullable string, which might actually cause issues. And so we'll now do change expression. Changes the current expression. So have expression name is not nullable and not defaulted. Bool additive equals true. Actually equals false. If true, the expression will not stable other expressions. Apply. Okay. I believe I can set what's called load preset. All right. Now, theoretically, with the additive thing, we can now control whether or not an expression is destructive or not. Because by default, it will disable all other expressions. We're also going to do private tube studio script. All right. Huh? We need to do and this, and this, and this, and this. We only want to expose change expression and change model. Oh, the load preset is supposed to end in x3.json. Oh shit. Okay. So let's do some testing. So we will allow Coalescence the opportunity to mess with the VTube Studio here a little bit. So now, theoretically, if I go into scripting and I just write VTS dot is it set expression? Change expression. And I do ASMR, which is one of the expressions in the model apparently. And I run this, I should become the default model and I believe hold a microphone. So let's see if that happens. Okay, so clearly I don't understand what this model's capability. Oh, there's one called Mike. Okay. If I do eyes heart. Well, that hasn't worked at all. Oh, that's not the name of the expression file. That's why. All right. What if I do custom? Okay, so this is this area's actual like setup. So hold on. If I click this button to disable, is this the default model? Wait, am I only like one step away from the default model? No way, right? You'll pay me to be your teacher? I mean, I did actually have services for tutoring. I took them down because I didn't have any interest. But I mean, I could put them back online on VGen. I actually enjoy teaching people how to program. Okay, let's choose a different model that is a little bit more obvious if I just have the default or not. Okay. Here we are. If I click this, this is the default model. So if I load Mike, I should. Okay, so I get set to be the default one, right? Now if I load custom, name of the preset. Nope. Is it? I'll let it. Yes. Okay. So now what I want to do is do Mike and true. It's just that easy. Slight issue. I don't actually have a way to disable an expression. I didn't think about that. We don't actually have a way to do that in VTube Studio. Or at least my version of it. There's not a way to disable an expression. Okay, we need to do a little bit more doing then. All right, we need to change some things. So problem is load preset enables a preset. So we are going to change the word load preset to enable preset. And we're going to make one for disable preset, which will simply disable a preset directly. Um, uh, maybe I should do this like this. So this is one of the things that I have done. So let's do this. If not preset dot ends with dot x3 dot json, preset equals preset plus dot x3 dot json. Um, so the thing is, the VTube Studio library I'm using for C# is a little freaky. It works pretty well. It does have a few holes, and one of those holes is being able to immediately stop a preset from being like affected, right? So I actually had to make my own like thing that has the fade time variable that VTube Studio supports, but that VTS C# or whatever the library is called, VTS sharp doesn't support. Why is there a thing? Is there an update? Is it a good update? It might actually fix my issue and make my whole override and complaint unnecessary. What the hell do you mean? What's your problem? Nope, it's actually still. I'm one of the 643 people using this library. It's a little bit of a weird one. It's not updating. I think it's an abandoned project. So it'll probably never improve. But that's just how it happens sometimes. Um, So now we have this. We can send this data with vtube video.socket.send vtsad vts expression activation data A goes straight into the fucking abyss. VTS error data E goes straight into the fucking abyss. That IP address is the one I just accidentally did. All right. So this allows us to immediately disable the preset. Fade time, I think, is in seconds. Float fade time equals 0.0f. Is it a double? It might be a double. It's a double. We're still gonna assign it with a float. Actually, maybe I should use a double because I think it's the data type that it binds to automatically. So we'll just see what happens. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go do enable preset. Will be this. And then for this, we're gonna do public async task switch. Actually, we have to rename it. Switch to preset, which will not be additive. So if it is active, we will disable preset b dot preset name with a fade time of 0. And then we will enable preset. Okay. Wait, what? Be scripting. And this should be obs.set filter enabled variables dot model change container variables dot vtube studio filter. Enter. Reset filter enable. Scripting dot xp script. All right, that should work now. All right, what's up here? Why does it only register this script? This should happen in the initialization of the subsystem. Actually, on do connect should happen. And then scripting should be made a dependency to ensure that it happens first. So now script provider is going to have enable expression or change expression. We'll have expression name and then mode must be swap, add, or subtract. Swap disables all other expressions and sets to the current one. Add adds the current expression and subtract removes it. That might be too long for the 3 lines of documentation you get. Mode will equal swap by default, and double fade time equals 0.0 or 0.0. The fade time. How long to spend switching expressions. So what we're gonna do is mode or switch of mode to lower invariant case of swap will be vtss.swap to or swap to model async. What? Switch to preset will be expression fade time break case add will be enable preset. Case subtract will be disable preset. This will all do .get awaiter .get results. These all do their check, right? Switch to preset actually doesn't, so it doesn't actually have to because these other two functions will do it for you. Another thing we can do actually is do this. So what we'll do is copy the code of all of this. And instead of there being a fancy switch statement, we're just going to straight up call disable all presets. Fade time will be, I mean, we can put it in the parameter list. So now to give this a good test and see, I don't know if we can make something stupid happen. We're going to call it bts.disable all expressions with a time of 10 seconds. Let's see what happens. Is it too long? Wait, fade time is detected as a boolean. What? Is it doing the funny? Oh, it says boolean. Oopsies. I forgot. That overrides the default method of determining what the type is supposed to be. that you can actually omit that Lua value type, and if it doesn't, if you omit it, it doesn't overwrite it. Okay, well, that wasn't 10 seconds. Could have been 10 milliseconds. So, huh? Why is it not working now? What? This should be running. Not. Mode is a boolean. Shit. Oopsie. I deflected again. Now I'm just purpleless area. BTS dot change expression 11. Okay. So now I want to do disable all expressions. A time of, let's say, 500. Okay. I set it to 00005. I forgot a comma. I'm beginning to think that this fade time doesn't actually do anything. I might be wrong about this. Okay, well, let's try something, right? Let's set it to 50.0, right? We're going to pause here. This fade time. Fade time is 50. We come into set preset, right? Preset is now the correct name. So that has worked. Still, for whatever reason, it intends being. Huh? How? Did you see that? I think it might be limited between 0 and 1, actually. Or 0 and like 5. Huh. How strange. let us fix. Uh, Actually, I'm kind of curious. I want to try something. What happens if I load the model that's currently loaded? Oh, that's awkward. About this. Huh. Actually, it's no longer working at all. I wonder if model change is calling the wrong thing? Oh. I could have also just confused the hell out of it by doing this. Um, what happens if I set the fade time to 0 now? Huh? It works now. I think it I think it requires it like it affects on the next one. It's so weird. VTube Studio is about as janky as my connection to it. Can we set the resolution of VTube Studio's window? We're gonna try something here. Might change this from private to internal to give the script provider the ability to poke around a bit. What? Oh, it's called VTube Studio. Hmm. Great. I can't click links in documentation comments. One moment. Um, Where is my um? Okay. Let's see. Can we set? Hmm. I don't think the VTube Studio API allows you to change the size of the window. I don't think we can set the resolution. I just don't think it's available in the API. Which is unfortunate. Okay. So we can't set the resolution, which is unfortunately one of the things I would like to be able to do with the API because it kind of hurts to not be able to. Because VTube Studio defaults to just about the right resolution, but like 10 pixels too short. And it's so noticeable in the with chat scene. So it's a little bit painful, but I can't do a whole lot about that at the moment. What else should I add to the behavior of VTube Studio? I don't think I have much. But I could do things to get and set parameters. I think is that a thing I can do? Can I just btss.vtubestudio.set parameter? I can get parameter value. Parameter injection value. I have no idea. I think it would be a little funny to have the ability to randomize the model. Um, and select random settings, but I don't know how good of an idea that is. I need this because we're not using the thing directly. I think we just leave it as is. Vignon is a little bit weirder because Vignon's system um Vignon's system works primarily with like the HTTP REST API. It's not super easy to actually send a lot of data. Um, it honestly might even be better for me to just drop support for Vignon. Because I don't really intend on making it that crazy. I mean, it is easy to send data. There's a lot of ways to send data to Vignon. It's a very interconnectable thing. Um, it's just like I don't use it a lot anymore. People prefer the 2D models, I think. So I don't actually get a lot of time using Vignon Also is slightly painful that it's difficult for me to, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. If it is difficult for me to put data into both of them, let's solve that right now. Let's solve that right now. We're gonna make a new app. Windows Forms app. Um, BMC relay. No, I put a fucking T in it. Go back. No, don't put it in the peak folder. What the hell? All right. All right. Okay. Can you like move it? Oh, you can press shift to resize it. All right. I think I know this by now, considering I've been doing WinForms apps for the past like 50 years. But learn something new every day. Or one of these exactly 1 pixel wider. No, but now one's exactly 1 pixel taller. All right. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a timer. Gonna run every 1 second, and on that we're going to track int packet. Actually, ulong packets sent equals 0. If bool running equals false. If running. Label one.text equals running sent packets. All right. Else label one.text equals not running. Sent packets. Okay. All right. So string s equals xbox one dot text dot split of comma with with the string split options dot trim entries and string split options dot remove empty entries. Okay. Then IP endpoint array keys to IPs string array keys. I return keys dot select IP endpoint dot parse uh, X array. Um, let's check to see if this works. So string test IP equals 27.0.0.1. String test IP2 equals 127.0.0.1 6969. IP endpoint parse test IP using system.net. The endpoint using system.net sockets. Where is IP endpoint defined? Here we go. Cool. So IP endpoint array receive IPs equals keys to IPs or receives. Actually, I guess the send IP will always, since we're broadcasting, it's always going to be 0.0.0.0, won't it? Either way, for each var v in receive IPs, UDP client UC equals new. V.port. address family.internetwork. And then uc.data. I guess what we'll do is just receivers.add uc. Bind. Okay. Now the idea is we um we create a new timer. This one with a much shorter duration, an interval of 10 milliseconds. It will do for each var v in receivers if v.available that is not zero, v.receive I'm not doing this right. Forget how you're supposed to do it. What's the last project I used UDP on? I have used UDP before. I just don't remember on what. The hell did I use UDP for? Um, I was gonna use UDP for the peak exporter. I think it still does, doesn't it? The from address is 0 for Annie. Okay. Okay, so theoretically, this should allow me to relay any UDP connection to many different implements, really. Let's try this. We're going to build the solution. We're going to port it over to the relay PC. By just dumping it into some folder. Run it. I don't have the required version of .NET. Grand. Okay. Plan is vBridger does not actually include the port it listens on. It's 49983, I think. Oh wow. Apparently, hmm. Okay. So Vignon doesn't actually allow me to overwrite it, but vBridger does. So we have some options here. Going to listen on 127.0.0.1. Actually 0.0.0.0. Was it 498 49889? 49983. Going to send to 127.0.0.1 49984. um that's gonna be problematic. Um we have to kill vBridger and Vignon. Start this. So any 49983 send to self and 49984. Theoretically, if this works. Oh, start never sits running. Actually, it should just work. Um, the idea is an application is already listening for capture data. How do I send data to a location? Because I can't. The problem is if I can't um find and send to the same thing, then it doesn't work. tp.send bytes by cell length new IP endpoint. Okay. Okay. All right. The idea now is that we don't ever bind to these ports. Listen on any 49983 sends to cells at 49984. Okay. Right, that works. Now the only thing we need to do is determine. Okay, first off, we're gonna change this from packets to bytes. I don't even know if this is visible. Okay. Um, so bytes. What is the output of send? Is it bytes sent plus equal? I don't know how that's ambiguous, but okay. Okay. Um. All right. Now the only problem I have, and it is a problem, how am I going to go about changing the address that Vignon is listening for VMC data on? Because I need it to be expecting the protocol, but on the wrong port. Unless I can have my phone. I totally can. Yet more reason to like iFacial mocap. I could just override the port it sends out. Brand. Okay. Chat. We may have just done something crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. Right now, actually. Check this shit out. What the fuck? That did nothing. What? um. What? There we go. All right. Chat. We have a new power. That's right. I can now VTube 2D and 3D at the same time. You thought you were safe from the double alare, but you are no longer safe. I can now not even only that, I can stack even more on this. If you thought that I wasn't as powerful as I used to be, you are sorely mistaken. This random fuck ass app that allows me to copy UDP data to multiple sources means that I can now not only stream in 2D and 3D seamlessly, but I can also do that while being able to. That's right. Wow, it takes forever to start. That's right. You thought that that was it, but it wasn't, because now I can also um try that again. 1 second. Because I can get the fucking USB in. Now I can also, please, I can gesticulate too. That's right. You thought you would be safe and that I wouldn't be able to wave my hands around like a fucking idiot. But I can, and I can do it while looking like an idiot. Here, look at that. I can. A minute. I can give myself head pats. Check that shit out. This looks so stupid. But yes, I truly have leveled up. All right. Now I suppose we trigger the event changing models to fix all of this. So I'm just gonna call name change this area. Oh no. It hasn't worked. Uh 2DS area. Well, it's not running. Well, I found our issue. Chat. Found the problem. Alright. Get Coalescence right. It does help to have the thing running when you're trying to do it. Okay. I will name change this area and everything will cleanly fix itself. Hold on a minute. VTube Studio isn't ready yet. Oh yeah, no it is. Okay. Okay. This is not a good sign. Um is the model change system? Yes, the model listing is still here. I don't know why it's not working. Is now the problem. It's probably attempting to run a script that doesn't exist. If I had to guess. So if I open, oh, you know what it probably is? If I open scripting, I go to we'll change that. What? Change. Swap to VTube Studio, I guess. Model change containers dependence. Model change container is defined as model lay. Probably what's happening is this wasn't done. What the hell? Um, yeah, model container is probably not set, is why this isn't working. Now, if I execute this, nope. Okay. To be fair, a lot of it is probably that I have just deleted a lot of my infrastructure. Um, hmm. Okay, we're gonna have to do some debugging then. Debugging, everybody's favorites. Let me to go to which window is capturing this game window? I have to actually capture Coalescence. We're gonna need to go into Twitch model change. I'm going to. Oh, but I don't want to do that. I'll do it here. Okay, so it's not making it that far. Is it seeing the? Not seeing the chat message. Okay, so Twitch is not distributing any events. Which means that my authorization is bad. So let us take a second and renew our authorization. We restart the app just to be sure. It always ends up being Twitch somehow. Kind of annoying, honestly. Okay, so it still hasn't worked. So Twitch is not distributing any messages. I mean, something is now very wrong. Let's dig into the free. All right, so Twitch is getting spammed with connect requests when it's already connected. I shouldn't break it. Um. Oh, chat. What if I told you it's super simple and it's really stupid? It wasn't Twitch at all. I mean, it was technically Twitch didn't do the thing, but that's hardly why it didn't work. Did it still not work? What? We do still have, okay. Um, no, now it's not sending it. What do you want from me? Okay. Wait, what? Channel chat message never got subscribed to. What? Uh, why not? Sensor register request channel chat message. Unless it's not channel chat message. Channel.chat.message requires channel.bot as well. But that shouldn't prevent it. Why is it not? Oh, I should probably not make this depend that it... Imagine you release it, it still is dependent on being you. That is a problem right there. Wait, Twitch bans is never connected. Happening. Arithmetic operation resulted in an overflow? Eh? In global log writer dot write line? Okay. What is going on here? Does Twitch ignore subsequent requests to subscribe to channel chat message? Why not? Why is there no error information? In fact, the word message never appears in the log. It's so strange. Oh, you know what it would probably help if I did the right log. Missing required scope channel read chat. It's a user read chat. That's why it's not working. If he found the problem. Channel read chat is simply not a permission on Twitch. Oh, another thing. The condition is not. Okay. This is probably why channel chat message is done in Twitch, but it really shouldn't be. Because it should not be something subscribed for free. All right, now if I do this, chat message comes through, which will trigger all of the events down the line that will cause everything to be completely okay. At least one of them worked. For a second there, I was like, what the hell is why did it only switch to Aleta? But no. Vignon is not properly being removed from the screen, which is kind of what I expected, considering that swap to VTube Studio does not actually call hide all models. Um, there we go. Now if I name change to Aleta, it should register the script. Yep, to swap to Vignon. It'll override. Well, that works. And then we don't have any Viado name changes because I can't support it at the moment. Now, theoretically, if I change it to name change like ultramarine, it's been a while, it should just I look away for 1 second and that's when everything works. What the hell? I think it waits for it to finish loading in the background, which is excellent. So now if we switch to um dusk women, it just works. We can now swap between 2D and 3D models without any extra effort. Let's go. All right. All right. So what I want to do is get rid of this requirement that you're me to do commands. What I would like to do is probably take handle command and actually put it like re-inline it instead of outlining it. Um, content unit. Okay. Okay. Wait, we have a random name change function? I don't. It's not running. But um, I want to change this to be read from Twitch's settings, which is possible. Um, reads are allow by default and writes are deny by default. So we should be able to just read the user's ID. String default or Twitch username equals unknown. right? What we can do is actually call Twitch get user info and provide literally no information, except for a callback to generic message callback, which will be model change user info reply. Now, the idea is, first off, I need to check to make sure that's the right message. User info request. I now need to check the code for user info request and see that it'll still work if you apply none of the IDs. So it will, at its default to giving you its own user information. The problem is the response to it is a user's object, which we don't have the schema for. So that's not great. Honestly, I might. We're gonna do this. We are going to genericize this object by converting it to a string, or to a JSON object, and then we're going to deserialize it back to string object, which will make it a generic object. I could also just have it return the first user only. I mean, yeah. Yeah. It's probably just best to return only one user. Because, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what this output looks like. It's probably gonna look atrocious, mind you. If I do users dot first dot, I mean, it could literally just be you get login. Ah, fuck, we're gonna try it. Okay, so we provide no information. Um, then we do This might work. Maybe. If we're very lucky. Might possibly work a little. I'm not holding my breath. Mainly because I'd probably suffocate by the time it actually runs. See, you get this dictionary. We return null, so clearly I have not uh, done the right thing. Dictionary has response. Why is it in a response object? Wait, what? Why is it in a response? Eh. It's unnecessarily slapped into a response object as well. All right, here we go. We drag this back up. Okay. Okay. User one exists. Why? I don't know why it says count 11. Fucking way that worked. What the hell? Chat, holy shit, it works. Oh, the commands are handled twice. Anyway, the other reason I wanted to outdent this was and dm.get value of is moderator not equal. I probably should do that, huh? I'm curious. Is moderator is actually false. So that's weird. Not a moderator on my own channel. Oh dear. Oh no, the watermark. So sad. Okay. I actually should probably look into why that happens. I can probably fix that. Um, expression equals fox. What expression do I use? That's probably why I don't actually call the right expression. The expression is named custom. Actually, wait, is it case sensitive? I mean, I guess I could see name change being case sensitive. All right, let's see if this works. See if this works. No? No? Huh? That's so weird. It sets the expression custom. Okay, we're gonna try something else. I'm gonna try reloading the app. We're gonna swap to another model, right? All right. It would help if I wrote the right thing, wouldn't it? Still no? What? Okay, let's do a little investigation. VTS dot change expression to custom. That works. For some reason, activating the custom expression fails from model change and model change only. Hold on. Why is this taking so long? Foxwoman might be the only model I have that doesn't default to its correct state. Maybe that's why it doesn't work. Hold on. Yeah, even Humanea defaults to the right like settings. Only this model doesn't. It always defaults to the thing, which makes me think perhaps there's a model action I'm not aware of. Ah, it would probably help if I had save active expressions on. So it turns out this entire time it has had nothing to do with me actually activating expressions. It's probably too early is why it doesn't work. The model hasn't loaded yet, therefore expressions are probably not available. Which means the entire time, the only reason that it has worked cleanly is because the models like expressions have already been saved. Well done. You haven't seen any of that, have you? Did we get a letter in our random? I'm having a little bit of fun choosing random name change actually. Why is my monitor shaking? Allowed to do that. Chat, shall we make a special thing? Okay. Theoretically, we can now model change with the random. Oh dear. Okay. Chat, you may now randomly select a model by writing random. All right. Well, we now have the ability to change models, and also the model change redeem no longer tells you to use exclamation models because so many people have redeemed exclamation models. And now it just says the link directly to hey go here. And then also has a note that you can now use random to select a random model. All right. I might call that here. Um Check my missions really quick. I need to chase on this one because they were supposed to test it last week and I still haven't heard back. Or did they say? Okay, so I do need to check in with them. Um, but yes, here it is. Let us find somebody to. Who shall we read? Um, hmm. I don't know. Who shall we read? Hope if I searched in the right page, wouldn't it? surprising amount of people playing gun games. No serious vibes, just goofy and chill. That sounds pretty good. They don't even have followers only chat on. All right. They've been streaming for 7.5 hours. So I don't know how much longer they're going to stay on. They have a really cool model. That's my criteria. They have like a some sort of spectral effect, like a spectral map. Like most of the model is darkened, but some of the features are not. And I haven't actually ever seen that. So that's kind of sick. But everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a great day. This is a random raid by tag. I do not know who we are raiding. I just like to say that so that nobody is surprised. Um, they are currently playing Minecraft. Uh, and yeah, I do want to make some more stream improvements in the future. I have to get a couple of these commissions done. There's not a whole lot left. I'm really just waiting on feedback. I'm waiting on information from the clients, and I think most of them. Um, I need to get a test version of the self filter out though. That is me being very slow. Um, I'm gonna work on that probably after stream and before next. But uh, I have big ambitions. Everybody, our raid messages: you are never safe from the Asaria raid. Asaria v popcorn. Uh, I'm running out of time. See ya. Ran out of time.